India has its eyes set on becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2025. Disruption in agriculture sector is a big ask. Unless the rural areas are provided with proper infrastructure for accessing basic banking facilities and an awareness is created regarding the schemes already available, the vision of digital and financial inclusion will remain an unfulfilled dream. In an effort to promote equitable growth via financial inclusion, Mastercard, in partnership with Leaf, aims to transform the lives of our farmers by leveraging technology to solve current challenges of transparency plaguing the rural ecosystem. And today, we talk about how digitization can help in this narrative and create sustainable models for rural financial inclusion. Joining me today, my panel of experts. Mr. Nikhil Sahani, Division President, South Asia, Mastercard. IS Dr. Ashok Dalwai, CEO NRAA and Chairman, Empowered Committee for Doubling the Farmers' Income for Government of India. Mr. T.R. Kesavan, Chairman, FICCI, National Agriculture Committee. Dr. Arvind Kumar, Deputy DG Research and Regional Director, Asia ICRISAT. And Dr. M.J. Khan, Chairman, Indian Chamber of Food and Agriculture. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time. Mr. Sani, may I start with you? And starting with a very basic question. What are the challenges faced by farmers today? And why do you think digitization hasn't succeeded as expected in rural areas?
First and foremost is that the rural ecosystem, there are farmers who face challenges relating to quality inputs, information and advisory services, inability to bank within the village, most of them are in villages, accessible storage and logistics, as well as access to credit products. The opportunity to lead the agriculture space with digitization is fairly large, but the solution adoption, unfortunately, has been low so far. First and foremost, credit access challenge. 50% of farmers don't have a formal credit history. It becomes therefore very difficult for them to access any formal financial services beyond KCC and the equipment finance. Rural digitization therefore finds it difficult. And of course, these farmers are typically much more interested to look at something which is a lot more physical. So you could go in for a phygital model, but when it comes to digital and financial literacy, it requires a fair amount of handholding. 3 to 4% of farmers use digital tools technology. That is the sort of penetration that you have. And therefore, there is a fair amount of, as I said, literacy that needs to be imparted. So we have a product, Farm Pass, where we believe it can drive active account usage for farmers and will eventually enable them to turn digital as well as manage their finances in a much better manner.
Dr. Khan, how can digitization and technology play a significant role in scaling up the reach and operations of various government initiatives like perhaps Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, etc.?
Any program to be delivered that requires massive efforts, a lot of manpower, and involvement of various key stakeholders. In fact, there has been an approach where the compartmentalization has been working. Companies work their own way, the banking system works its own way, the government system works in its own way, and the research and extension system. In fact, if there could be a platform where all can work together in terms of physically delivering the programs, but more importantly, no matter how much manpower we deploy, but looking at the nature of 12 crore plus farmer families and 7 lakh plus villages, no amount of deployment of manpower will be sufficient to deliver the scheme, deliver them timely and effectively. Therefore, there's a need for digital approach, the digital platforms to be created. And today, the startup ecosystem, we look at kind of innovative models that are being rolled out. Certainly, there is a need for a national approach in this direction. Unfortunately, the lack of data and its availability, particularly with the private sector, that was a big constraint so far. So now that the government is opening up with sharing of the data, in fact, open data sharing in the Western world has been so much emphasized, but the private sector has not been coming forth when it has a lot of data with other players and even with the government. But if government of India is coming forward, sharing the data, then I'm sure that the ability of the private sector, the large companies, as well as the startups, they'll be able to deliver a lot of programs and participate in the prosperity of the farmers through rolling out many schemes, delivering many programs and products, and also the monitoring the success and the implementation of the same.
Right. Taking the sentiment forward, Dr. Arvind, as per Niti Ayog's report on artificial intelligence, to maintain an annual growth rate of 8 to 10%, agriculture must grow at 4% or higher presently. How critical then again is to digitize farmers and the whole agriculture sector to bring in such growth? And how will it benefit our farmers and various FPOs?
We all know that agriculture is a risky operation, and in fact, there is urgent need to reduce the risk. And this is where I see the artificial intelligence helping agriculture, that it potentially it has changed the way to see agriculture, enabling farmers to achieve better results. And in fact, if we want to achieve more than 4% of the growth in agriculture, combining artificial intelligence and the digital agriculture tools, which helps to analyze market demand, which is very beneficial to the farmer, and then also manage the risk. By having the weather advisories on time, farmers can decide which crop to be sown, which variety to be sown. These initiatives also help farmers to monitor soil health and protect crops. So evidently, AI helps to bring cost saving. AI helps to improve the income. AI helps farmer to have the real time insight into his farm, and also AI helps to go for the new ways of farming, for example, the vertical farming. And therefore, if we use the artificial intelligence together with the digital agriculture technology, that's the way to ensure that we have more than 4% of the growth in agriculture.
Mr. Keshman, what are some of the key trends that have emerged in the recent past in terms of farm digitization that have helped improve the income generation?
For me, the technology is a great leveler. It is one of the most enabling democratic process. When people ask me this question, I say, look at the telephones. I mean, 15 years back, 20 years back, it was only a rich man could afford a telephone. The digitalization of the mobile phone has put into almost every hand of every villager, even at a very, very low income level people. And that is the power of technology. Everybody has the same level of access. The question is, what is happening as far the technology intervention is farming is concerned? For me, the most important intervention that has started already happening is how do I manage the resource use efficiency? I'm not talking about the monetary resources. I think our from my friend from the Mastercard has already touched upon some of the very critical issues and fintech issues. For me, what is the most important is the farmer actually spends a lot of money and six items, that is on seeds and the fertilizer, the pesticides, the water and power, and more importantly, how to keep the soil without degradation. These are the six areas which directly affect the farmer. And today, a lot of money goes into this. Imagine, like the PM has been talking about, if I can grow every single seed and I can put only the needed drop of water per seed, the whole way of creating the grains or growing the plantations will completely change. I think that is what is important for the farmer is concerned. And believe me when I say this, because I've seen this with my own eyes, a lot of work has been happening in these all these areas I talked about, whether it is seed, fertilizer, pesticide, or water or power. Today we have technologies being developed so that the farmer will use only what is minimum needed. Many of these technologies are happening in pockets, but I genuinely see scaling up when farmer sees the benefit. Farmer will absorb it when it is advantageous and he sees that it is advantageous.
Dr. Dalwai, with the government now in principle committing to work closely with private players by sharing data to further boost the drive to digitize the agri sector in India, what sort of partnerships would you be keen to see coming from this and the benefits that the sector will derive from them?
As you rightly said, now government is keen to digitize agriculture. The first thing that now our ministry is doing is to build a, a centralized database of all the farmers. We have more than 100 million of farmers, that is more than 10 crore farmers. And the data of these farmers today is being centralized into a database, and more importantly, this particular database is being linked to the land records. Then that would be the foundation for all kinds of service deliveries in an effective manner. When we make this particular data open to the public at large, naturally the private sector would be able to tap into the advantages that come from that. So, if we want true partnership, obviously data is the mantra. So, open sourcing of the digital technology and open access to the data would actually benefit the private sector. So, I firmly believe that this centralized database that is now being built and on which various agri stack would be superimposed, that will pave the way for efficient and effective delivery of services at the last mile.
Mr. Sani, tell us about Mastercard's plan on financial inclusion of farmers in India, especially the Farm Pass.
So, Mugdha, as an extension to our commitment to drive financial inclusion, we launched Community Pass and Farm Pass to transform the lives of people living in rural areas by leveraging technology to solve multiple challenges faced by the rural ecosystem. So, what is Community Pass? It's an interoperable digital platform facilitating sustainable service delivery for marginalized individuals and communities. Enables a multitude of service providers to expand their access and reach, reduce costs, and realize new revenue opportunities. Farm Pass is actually a pivotal component of Community Pass. It's a digital ecosystem platform that works offline, even with feature phones. It connects buyers, FPOs, and other agriculture ecosystem players with farmers digitally, helping the farmers to get the best value for their produce. So we had a successful pilot, and we have extended Mastercard Farm Pass gradually to 5 states, including Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Maharashtra, amongst others. We currently serve 250,000 farmers and 400 FPOs. The aim, of course, is to reach a much larger number, at least 1 million farmers by the end of this year. Uh, Farm Pass also creates a standard interface for farmers and buyers. So the idea is that you bring in greater efficiency in the agri-value chain. Also, just to add, Mugdha, it's currently available free of cost for the farmers and FPOs. They can register themselves on the platform and sell produce without any fees. Uh, in terms of a few other things that it enables, it enables FPOs to aggregate small herder farmer produce for sale, register farmers, record expected harvests, communicate with their farmers via SMS. As I mentioned, this is something which can work on feature phones. Farmers and FPO to access credit-based data. It facilitates constant tracking as well as access to digital transaction histories. That's something which will enable in credit as times progress. And of course, it digitizes data and the workflow for FPOs with strong controls on data privacy, consent, and security. So it's a powerful platform. It's in a little bit of a phase right now, and we expect this will turn out to be a winner in course of time.
Well, it's time now for a very short break, but when we come back, we talk about the public private partnership and what tech led interventions can we expect in times to come. Stay tuned.